You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Hey, counselor friend. Did you spend last semester in fight or flight mode, barely surviving? Well, it's a new year and it can be different. I want you to join me for a free training on how to thrive instead of survive this semester. I'll be sharing exactly what you should be doing at each tier, and I'll be including a free planning guide and curriculum map. All attendees also get a PD certificate. I really hope you'll join me. I'm offering 2 times. Go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/thrive to sign up. See you there. Hey there. Thanks for listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. I hope your semester is off to a great start. I know it can be like mixed feelings. Sometimes you're feeling refreshed and recharged and you get a lot of ideas after having some downtime over the break. But sometimes you might kind of be dreading returning and you don't feel quite ready. So whatever phase you're in, I am here for you and I hope that you have a really good week. And always let me know what I can do to support you guys. You can always send me an email, rachel@brightfutures-counseling.com, or send me a message on Instagram at Bright Futures Counseling, and I love to connect with you guys and help you out. Speaking of Instagram, today's podcast topic was kind of born from a comment that I got on Instagram. So it was from Counseling with Confidence, and she said, do you typically do a classroom lesson monthly with all grade levels, or is there a specific grade level for certain months? And this is how I decided to do the next couple episodes called Tiers Without Tears. Because I find that counselors so often get overwhelmed with the 3-tier system and they're like, when am I supposed to be doing what? How many class lessons, small groups, individual? What am I supposed to be doing and when? Help. So if you feel that way, then I am here for you and I have some good, quick solutions I think you'll find helpful. And if you feel like you've got it covered, that's wonderful, but it's always good to get a little refresher as well. So today I want to dive in and talk about those class lessons like the question asked in Counseling with Confidence. Thanks for commenting if you're listening. Hi, thank you. But yeah, I want to talk about the class lessons and how you can do those. Now, this is something that I can go super in depth on. I actually have a whole course on class lessons and I have several podcast episodes on like really specifics of class lessons. So you can go into the library and check out some older episodes there. But I want to share with you guys today the basics of class lessons. This is for the counselor who's like, okay, I'm back. I feel like I didn't do enough class lessons last semester. Help me out. How can I get a good plan for this? And I want to break it down for you in a few simple steps. So first off, when it comes to our class lessons, these are not referral based. Next week, I'll be talking to you about individual and group sessions, and those are going to be referral based. We'll get more into that next week. But for today's episode, class lessons are not referral based. So you're thinking, how do I know which classes to go to? And here's what I recommend. The first thing you need to figure out is if you have freedom in this area or if you're on the specials rotation. I know sometimes counselors are in the specials rotation and they might have to do their guidance lessons or their SEL lessons on an assigned day or time and then to assigned grade levels. But in my experience, every counseling job I've had has been where I've got a little freedom in this area. So what I do is I pick a topic for the month and then I go into each classroom 1 time a month and teach the lesson. So that's every classroom. Now I know it can seem like a lot because I did work at a K-12 school in Costa Rica and I actually went into every class, but it was a small private school. So like 12th grade was 1 class, but it can still be demanding. So what I recommend is if you are going to do this, to still choose 1 topic. And you may be thinking, okay, Rachel, but how can a topic I choose for 2nd grade be developmentally appropriate for 6th grade? Well, the good news is that you can still choose the same topic, but you can tweak it a little bit depending on who you're working with. So here's an example of what it might look like in January. January, I like to do a lot of goal setting, growth mindset, fresh start, really pumping up the academic focus and getting everyone back on track after the break. So for the little ones, this might look something like positive versus negative thought monsters, where they're just identifying positive and negative thoughts. Or it might honestly be as simple as reviewing rules and expectations and how to follow the rules, something like that for kinder. With the older elementary, you could do something like growth mindset. So I love doing a growth mindset lesson, this time of year, and I can link to a couple of those in the show notes for you guys as well. But growth mindset would be a good fit for them. And then when you get up to middle and high school, you can even take this a step further and have them do a lot of discussion and self-reflection, maybe on like limiting beliefs or areas they struggle with specifically, and helping them like give advice to each other and overcome those things. So you can see how the same topic of growth mindset as a general topic can change from primary all the way up to secondary. So once you kind of have your topic sorted out, what I recommend that you do is you need to get it on the calendar. Now this can be the tricky part. I love for teachers to sign up with me. So I love to use Calendly. Calendly is a free website that you can use. I mean, there's a paid version, but I find that the free one has all the features I need. And teachers can go in and sign up for a time based on your availability. So you already know maybe you're carrying over some groups from last semester, or maybe you have some individuals already scheduled. Maybe you have a recess duty or lunch duty or a meeting that you always have to go to, a weekly meeting. So you'll go ahead and put in your availability and then have the teachers signed up based on that. This prevents what I like to call the back and forth email yo-yo, which can be really annoying, where you're like, hey, I'd like to come in and do a lesson. What time works best? And they say, oh, this time. And you're like, oh, sorry, can't that time. Do you have another time? And they're like, oh, sorry, can't that time. It's really difficult. So I find this to be really efficient. It's digital. It can automatically appear on their Google Calendar. So then you both get the reminders. So I love to do it that way. Now, another way you can do it is to have a Google Sheet sign up. Still tech friendly, but not as advanced as Calendly. So this one's a little easier. You can just, again, write in your available times and days, and teachers can go in and sign up for a spot. And then teachers who don't sign up, you can follow back up with, and say, hey, please sign up. I need to come into your class. And then the least techie way you could do it, but essentially the same thing, is you could have a paper sign-up sheet in the teacher's lounge or in your office or somewhere that the teachers are going to see, and they can come by and sign up for a time. Now, some of you may already have these systems in place from first semester, which is great. You may already have your January lessons scheduled, and that is awesome. If you don't, what I like to do is, once you figure out the date and time that works best for that teacher, go ahead and just say, hey, I'm just going to put you down for that same day of the week and time for the rest of the semester. So first Tuesday at 10 a.m., I've got you down Mrs. Robin or whatever. That's my son's teacher's name. That's the first one that came to mind. So you would have that written down. And then, of course, you may have to tweak this if there's a holiday or spring break or something. But overall, that day and time works for them. So then you can go ahead and book it until June or May, whenever you get out of school. So you don't have to worry about doing it every single month. So step one when it comes to Tears Without Tears in our class lessons. Class lessons are our Tier 1 intervention. This is where we're delivering this to all students. It's a preventative method, right? That's why it's not referral-based. It's preventative. Everyone's getting it. And to ensure everyone's getting it, we're going to make sure we get those teacher sign-ups. We're going to make sure that we get that topic locked in that's developmentally appropriate and timely. Okay, guys, I hope you found this episode helpful. I hope you have a little takeaway about class lessons that you can implement today. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I have a fun free event for you guys. So you may be thinking, okay, you gave us the growth mindset example, but what about the rest of the months? How do I know what to do each month? Well, I've got you covered. I'm doing a free live training next week. So it's next Tuesday and Wednesday. Most of you probably have a long weekend. And then we have that Tuesday and Wednesday, January 21st and 22nd. I'm doing a free live training on how to thrive instead of survive this semester. And all attendees get a free planning guide and curriculum map. And in this curriculum map, it details what to do and when to do it across all 3 tiers every month of the school year. I think you'll find it super helpful. I have 2 available times, so pick the one that works best for you. You can save your seat at stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/thrive. I'll also be including a certificate of attendance, so you'll get that PD certificate as well. I know many of you like to print those, show them to your admin, and keep track of all the time you're spending on your professional development. So I really hope you guys join me. Like I said, the training's free, and you get the free planning guide and curriculum map. And it will be live, so you can ask me any questions you have and connect with some other counselors in the chat. It's always a really great time. So I can't wait to see you there. Again, go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/thrive to save your seat. Okay, I'll talk to you guys next week. We'll be exploring more tiers without tears. We'll talk about small groups and individual sessions. See you then.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.